All right. Good afternoon, family. How are you all today? This is Elliott McCants, as known by Uncle Mickey Free as the professor. We're here sitting in for Sister Audrey Muhammad again today. We want to wish her well. I believe she had to go out of town for family situation, so just make sure we keep her in our prayers and make sure everything works out well for her and her family. Um, and we'll see her as soon as she gets everything back in order and her business taken care of. Here again with brother Uncle Mickey Free and Elliott McCants, and thank you for joining us when you join in. And we appreciate any comments and commentary that you all may have to help us along with the aliveness of the show. So once again, any views and concerns or anything mentioned is the author's own, and we want you all to partake and join in on us, and it's not nobody else is responsible for what we say other than what we know. All right, so today I want to talk a little bit about a couple of one. I'm going to talk about some books, but I know the we're voting is coming up pretty soon, and we're getting polarized in how what the issues are. But as we vote, I think that there's a couple of things or work towards voting. And there are many people that may not vote because of their beliefs. And there may be a lot of people that vote based upon what their emotions are. But that's not an informed way to vote. An informed way to vote is to know what the issues are that are on the ballot. And I believe there's a way of being able to get that information, learn what those issues are, and not vote based on emotion, but vote based on knowledge and logic. Okay. I'm gonna go back to what I've said several times. When Vice President Harris was announced as the next person candidate to run, within 24 hours, her candidacy made $80 million. That's great. But those were emotional supports. So if you go from no money in your war chest to $80 million in your war chest, most of that is based upon you sending money because this is an opportunity for this person who is a woman, a black woman, or whatever, on all these other isms and these other labels to vote on her behalf or support her on her behalf, not knowing what really the agenda is. So, in talking to a few people over the last couple of days about this, I understand from the 1800s and being voting for Lincoln because he was the president that supposedly signed the Emancipation Proclamation that freed African people, and he was Republican and everything else. The reason why people feel you should vote a certain way, and people voted for the Republican Party for years because of that emotional idealism, not knowing on the other side of that for real that he really didn't care anything about freeing the enslaved African people. Let me say that instead of because nobody chose that. He didn't care anything about that. He didn't care anything about the freeing of them. His position was that the white people in the country were going to maintain a superior position, and every other group was going to be in an inferior position. So he didn't care anything about that. And a lot of times, with all of the laws, and some of those are still applicable, what people are still not understanding in our lack of study is there are laws that the red line. We're going to change this out. You got to be able to grandfather. You got to vote for this thing. We're going to now count these votes. We got absentee ballots. We got this. And we got all of this other stuff that are put in the way on purpose to make sure that people are denied the right to vote. So in 1965, when the Voters' Rights, was it 1964, the Voters' Rights Act was enacted. 1964, 1965 Civil Rights Act. And the voter rights was enacted in 1964. Correct me if I'm wrong, check my work. Could be off a year. But every 25 years, Congress has to vote to whether they're going to continue to keep the law. Now, check it once again, do some fact checking. So every 25 years, it has to go before Congress to see whether you're going to continue to have Africans in America have the right to vote. Now, that's one thing. Another thing is, who are you voting for? And are their beliefs and ideas in alignment with yours? And if they're not, what do you do in order to be able to say, we cannot, since you're not in alignment with what we said as a collective, what do we do in order to pull them in or pull them back and remove them from office instead of, well, we'll just have to wait and vote them out the next time? And the process shouldn't take almost a year for that to take place, right? We should be able to be in a position to pull them out of office within almost no time if they show that they're not following the agenda that we are requiring them as a lobby group to support. It takes forever. You got to do a recall. You got to go through this. You got to go through that. Meanwhile, they're going to continue with the agenda that they've been put in position for. It shouldn't take forever locally, and it shouldn't take forever statewide or nationally. Hey, you know what? You said you're going to do this. We don't see evidence of you doing any of those things. So why in the world are we still continuing to allow you to represent us when you're not representing us? This is supposed to be a representative democracy where the person that you put in place is supposed to speak the language that you desire for them to speak in order for you to be able to be heard. Right? This goes back to what we talked about the 3/5 clause that took place in Virginia, because Virginia now all of a sudden back in the Constitution days wanted to, no, all of a sudden we're gonna count everybody that we have within our borders so that we can get more constituents in the Senate instead of, they're giving us updates, instead of we appreciate that, instead of, we only gonna count white people to vote, which was only the people that was given the right to vote at that time, and it was only white men who could vote and not white women, which is where the women's suffrage group meetings come from. And women's suffrage come because we want to have the right to vote too. That's what happens when you have in a patriarchal society that says we have all the rights, you don't have any right. So women, of course, white women, start as women's suffrage so that they can have a right to vote. But typically they're going to vote alongside what their husband was going to vote for anyway, because that's just how that goes. And that's typical what happens in almost all households. But what I'm saying is this: as we're moving towards voting and we're polarized with one candidate versus the other, one group versus the other, then still remember, left wing, right wing, same bird. And if we're going to vote for whichever candidate, be it local, state, or national, then what powers do we have in order to have people? Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for being with us, Mrs. Brown. What power do we have in order to say, you know what, after 90 days or 100 days, and we know it takes some time, but we haven't seen anything. So now we gotta have a meeting with you, and in this meeting we're demanding this, and these things didn't happen. So then what do you do? So you have to be able to lobby and pull them out of there and get somebody else in there who will do what you want them to do.
So who have we been sending the lobby for us?
Nobody.
Mm.
Nobody's. We just want to be vote and support people based on emotion. I'm gonna say it again: $80 million in 24 hours. But yet we can't get people to send $8 here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with what you do here, it shouldn't cost a dime if people supported what it is that you do. Because if they support, they watching and this and that, send $15, $20 in so that the show is basically free, right? So that means if you go to City Hall and you post that, people that watch it, you get informed. So if you get informed, you pay for the information. So no, we don't have any lobbyist groups as far as African people in America. We should form that, because if we make that type of money, even though we make it from other groups of people, we should also be able to use that money in order to say, hey, look, you know what? Locally, we need you to do this. If you're not doing these things, we're going to pull you out right now. We're not going to wait till November. You got 30 days to show us that you're working for us, for our community here, right? We had a vote August 6th. Somebody got put in our ward over here in the subway. I haven't seen anybody till now, ever, other than seeing them before the August 6th primary. Still haven't seen that person.
Mm.
Didn't see him before, haven't seen him since. Won't see him again. And don't have a way to get in touch with him. Now, I'm sure I could find a way, but still. And that's on me. Not a problem. Don't have an issue with that. But at the same time, you should be out here being local and being with the local people, and you should let people know that you're out here working for us, not give perceptions.
I was just reading the comment.
Yeah. Well, now, and you're absolutely right. So, Mr. Hutchinson wrote a comment. Okay, you got it. And you're absolutely right. Says in Flint, you have black people in political leadership not taking care of their own. 94 million free dollars given to other people. How do you correct that psychosis? People still support the mayor. Well, okay, there's got to be legal recourse. There's got to be, which is either recall or public, not necessarily, I don't want to say public, um, I don't want to say that, but somewhere where you pull them out in the public and say, look, these are things that we know that are supposed to be here. And so therefore, how is it that there's these monies here and these things aren't being distributed amongst the citizens of the city? And if that's in his hands, then what's the next step? Legal recourse. Take them to court. And that would include anybody. First ward through ninth ward. Hey, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I'm not gonna argue with you about it. We'll just go to court.
Right. But see, a lot of people don't know that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us don't not just know, but not got the resources or know how to go get it. That's why we come on every morning in Buck and we be telling them, because the residents need to start filing charges along with the council people who need to file some charges.
Right. So you can go to legal services that takes cases like that, right? So legal services is an inexpensive or free legal service that you can go talk to them about. And then you got the Attorney General of Michigan. They do, but they have to do more than just deal with state issues. They deal with other issues as well. Put pressure on the Attorney General. Call the Attorney General's office. Hey, look, we got these things going on. You got the court systems here in the city. You fill them up.
Right.
Eventually, they'll have to do something. How many times? Every time you turn around, you got we got to go. We got another subpoena to go to court. We got another subpoena to go to court. Why? You're not serving the public. And if you're not serving the public, then one or two things going to happen. You do start to serve the public like you're supposed to. Well, guess what? Next week you have another subpoena. Or you're being disruptive of the process. You're not doing anything with the process. But that's being informed. That's being informed. All of the argument that takes place. I mean, we have a city of 80,000 people. You know, and what Mr. Hutchinson said, there's some monies here, right? If there's some monies here, then there should be nothing that we should have an issue with anything with that type of money here in the city. And we know people gonna get their cut. We got that. That's part of politics. It's unfortunate, but it's part of politics. But at the same time, if nothing else is being done, then guess what? You're gonna need to. We're gonna see you in court every week. Every week.
That's how they're doing it.
Yeah. But people have to do that.
Right. No, you do. That's how you're supposed to do. But see, our people won't do it like that. We'll just take it, give you the right cheek, and then turn and give you the left
Well,
cheek.
that's because we unfortunately listen to somebody say turn the other cheek, and that's how you're supposed to take it. Right. Okay, but then you can't complain about being led to a burning house either. You can't make that complaint if you're willing to turn the other cheek and get hit on one cheek and turn the other one, because that's the ideology you following. Right. You cannot be burned. Talk about how hot it is in the house. Can somebody give me a water hose so I can put this fire out? Right. No, because we've decided to follow that ideology. Yep. Now ideology's gotten us nothing and nowhere, but losing what we had, losing educationally, losing financially, losing on all aspects, morally, everything else. So what do we want following that? Nothing. We want absolutely nothing.
How do we change this perception, though?
Well, first and foremost, we got to really be critical. And there was one of the books I posted before, and it's on the list, by Dr. Harold Cruz, whose book, Crisis of the Negro Intellectual. He mentions being very critical about what we call so-called leadership, because his book is critical of leadership all the way across the board, from top to bottom. And you don't listen to ministers who the only time you see the political people come into the congregation is when they want to get elected. Those people are doing nothing but guiding sheep anyway. And if I make some of y'all angry, whatever, I don't care, because that's all that happens. So you have the person that wants to run for office comes to church, and you, as the minister, you don't ask any hard questions, because if they give you a donation, you want to sit there and say, oh, we'll accept a donation in the name of the church. Y'all should vote for him. But nobody wants to ask the question, why should we vote for him? And what is it that he's doing other than coming in here? And they know this is what we're going to do all of the time, because the leadership that's still leading you into a burning house, his house is straight. Yours is not. So don't do it anymore, and be informed enough to ask them questions. And even if that means you get run out of the church or the mosque or wherever you may be asking questions at. And most of the time, they don't never go to mosque. They always go to churches because they know this is part of what they've been doing forever. So they go to the church, have an opportunity to speak. If the pastor and the church get something from the opportunity for them to come in and talk, whether it be some donations or whether it be whatever it is that they get, airtime, whatever. But at the end of the day, when you get the people to vote for them, if you're the one that led them to go vote for this person, what are the people getting out of it? So then you're a poor leader. But yet, what do? We keep supporting that ideology, but we're going to support the pastor because of this. But the pastor's not going to ask hard questions of the candidate because
Right.
you don't want to make him feel uncomfortable.
It's dollars.
Yeah, it's all about dollars.
It's
And if we're wrong, I'm okay being wrong, but you're not showing me otherwise. Because at what other time did they come to your church? They're not coming to church during the Christmas pageant. They're not coming to church for Easter, sunrise service. They're not coming no other time other than time to vote. And yet they're not talking about any hard issues. And nobody else asks any hard issues. Or having participated in the forum this summer, the candidates were able to give us what their position was, but we weren't able to ask questions. That's not an open forum. We just got to listen to them, but we can't ask questions back in return. So what's the point? So don't invite me because my job as it being, I want to be informed. I don't want to hear what your spiel is. You're gonna give me your spiel. I'll have to sit here and listen, and then I can't ask you any questions because you want to show people that these are the candidates, whether you support them or not. These are the candidates, and they get to tell you what they're here for. So they tell us what they're here for.
Well, we're gonna do this every 4 years.
Yeah.
Every 4 years.
Yeah, we go through this every 4 years. We walk through a burning building every 4 years.
Every 4 years we go through this.
Yeah. And then we sit there and think that things are going to happen and things are going to take place for us, but they never do because the expected behavior is we're going to go right back to it again. So now somebody's going to come, some political person's going to come between now and November 5th or 6th or whatever the day that we vote, and they're going to start going back to churches again, and nothing's going to happen. But people are going to get told, vote for him because he came to support the church or he came in to speak. But are you asking him and or her or them any hard questions about what it is that they're here for? Why are you here? What am I coming to listen to you for? What do you have to tell us? Now, how can we hold you accountable for the things that you say you're going to do? And that's the part that we don't ever want to do.
Right. I agree.
Okay. How do we hold those people accountable? Well, okay, you got 30 days to show me that you're doing something in my ward. Let's say if I use our ward, you got 30 days to show me that you're doing something here. If not, I'm gonna call you on it. And I'll say this again: the person that won in our ward, I haven't seen her nor heard from her. Didn't know her until I met her working with somebody else. And she, I can't wait to work with you. Well, okay. Haven't heard anything. Haven't seen you come knock on my door. Haven't seen you in my neighborhood, which, you won. And you barely won, but you won. But I haven't seen you since.
And why do our black politicians do that?
Because they figure, just because I'm black, we share something.
They're like, why do they do that? Like when they get in, because I've been looking at a lot of things that's been going on, it's the most.
Yeah, I know, because you're in the know.
I'm saying about Puffy situation. I'm just, not to be on the long, I'm just saying, but we hearing how he get put out here. This is what frustrates me with us as a race of people. We'll call out us. we'll hold us more accountable, but you won't hold no other ones accountable.
No, we'll never do
I
that.
watch Oprah Winfrey stand up for I can't think of it.
Weinstein
That
guy.
Harvey
Yeah.
Weinstein.
Yeah.
But I watched her friend Gail win at R. Kelly.
Yeah.
And I'm watching how the media, how they doing the slander, as I call it, you know what I'm saying? The slander of Puffy. They build you up.
Yep.
Then as soon as you go off script. And what I mean off script is when it's all right for you to work for me. But soon as you get the idea, you want to own, you want to build something, it becomes a problem in the United States.
So okay, let's follow that for a minute.
Okay.
Because that's still part of the crucifixion, so to speak.
I'm with you.
Okay. So if you and I'm gonna need one of those hats, but I'm gonna need it in white or gray.
Gotcha.
My man. If you no longer, I'm gonna make this unpopular, I don't care. Bill Cosby, right? Built NBC.
Right.
Because if you don't have the Cosby show,
right.
NBC's dead. Right. They're gonna sell it, whatever. Right. Now all of a sudden, all of these Me Too allegations from 40 years ago, 50 years ago, come up. Right. Now, his wife, Camille, who's also a doctor, I believe, says absolutely nothing. She didn't open her mouth, because if she was been maybe some legitimacy to it, then why would she stay? So he goes through all of this stuff, trial, this and that and other, and everything else, because, and there's a couple of things that I heard. Number one, the land that he owns has oil on it that they want, and I've heard that. Don't know how true it is. And number two, I've heard this more than that, is he was in the process of putting together monies to buy NBC.
I heard that too.
Okay. Now, your son, Ennis, gets, hey, little mama, glad you're with us. Your son, Ennis, gets he's mysteriously died in an accident somewhere.
Yes.
But that doesn't stop you from the process of trying to do these things.
Right.
Trying to create another legacy. And yet, what is the first thing that we do is we throw them to the wolves. Right. Now, all of the HBCUs that he gave millions of dollars to don't return the money that they got from him, that received them from him. But all of a sudden, you want to distance yourself from this based upon some evidence of some things that's not evidential that happened 40 something years ago in the 60s. Right. Now, if he was married in the 60s to Camille and all of these things was going on, I don't think that, why would you stay? Right. If you knew that these women were coming up to his room all of this time, why would you stay?
Money.
Okay.
Sometimes people look at, money. That's just like what and it's different because that's just like with Stedman and Oprah.
Right.
How she want to be married, he didn't, but she got the money.
Right.
But she ain't replaced him.
No. Who knows what he knows?
Man.
Because if you replace me, then guess what? Or you try to replace me, then guess what?
This is a good one for you right here, good brother.
Showing up at their church have they paid? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I completely agree. Yeah. We're just talking about that.
I mean, I agree.
And most of the women in the pews know the game better than we understand. The reason why she's sitting in the pew is because she has a thing for the pastor.
Facts. Little mama, thanks for tapping in. Taz Montana, T from the D family, thanks for tapping in. No, I agree with you with that. But it's like every year we get played and suckered into this. But where are we building infrastructure? Where are we building as the new word generational wealth?
We're not.
You know, where is that at? Where is our education? Because when you really going to school, who is you learning about?
Well, okay. So the propaganda is to learn about school education doesn't take place in the building. It's not supposed to. It's not so. As an educator, I'm telling you all this. It's not supposed to. Education, true education, takes place outside of the building. And now that they're trying to limit what you can teach even more so because you don't want to hurt people's feelings, they don't care about the feelings that they've hurt over all of these 400 and some years that they had a group of people enslaved, that they run another group, 100 million people that they buried in. We living on they carcasses and bones now. Because what's the name of the group? Chippewa lived here in this land we own right now. They don't care nothing about that because in 1832, when they said manifest destiny go from one coast to the other, they meant that, and it didn't matter who, what, where, when, how, or why. But going back to the politics thing, yeah, them women know that they in there, they in love with the pastor. They have an affinity for the pastor because he's spoken something to their spirit, if not more than that. And they endeavor to, in their minds, what are you learning? You can't ask most of them what are they learning from the word, because most of them don't know, because they don't study. They're not required to study. You just follow. The only thing your job is to do is follow what I tell you to and read this one scripture. Then I'm gonna build a story around. It's not even necessary. But this is, the training. You're not required to think.
No, I agree with you.
There's no thinking that goes on.
No, I agree with you because it's like just seeing this, like you breaking it back down to voting, like we're not really educated.
No. What's the proposals? How are these proposals going to affect us? Right. What's if you vote for somebody over at Mott, that affects the college, but does that also affect, what happens in the community? Right. But if you have students that go to the community college, how does the vote for whoever they're voting for and whatever their laws or whatever, voting for the president or the board of education, right, or the board of education here in the city of Flint or the board of education in the state of Michigan, how does that affect the education that's going to take place here? Right. And we don't never ask questions. Right. Right. I recall having a friend, somebody I know, hey man, I'm running for board of education or for the presidential board of education. Okay, great. What's your agenda? I'm an educator. You're not coming to me asking me to vote for you without me asking you what you want me to vote for.
I understand it.
But he won because of his popularity, right, not because he could tell me an agenda, because he didn't have one. He just thought he was coming up to me, hey man, you my guy, blah, blah, blah. Can you vote for me? No. Tell me what your agenda is. Then I'll vote for you. And if your agenda is legitimate, I got you. And I'll tell everybody else I know too. But if you don't have one, I'm not voting for you. You don't have a real reason. You just want to do it for what?
And that's what I'm glad you brought that up, because you know why? We see that going around now, how people just be getting positioned into these seats.
Absolutely.
And you can tell a lot of them don't be knowing what they're doing. They're there as a tool.
For the last person that I know, there were two people. And one has since passed on, and another one, I haven't seen her in a long time. Normally, I run into her at the store once in a while. Is Mr. Oh my gosh, I see his face. But I'm not gonna mention names since I can't remember his name, but I know the other one. And those were two people that I was able to talk to as persons who were wanting to be representative in our district. Right. And one word got back to her, and she came to my house and we talked for a couple of hours. Right. At that point, I'll vote for you. I'll vote for you because then you're making sense. And I'll tell everybody else they need to vote for you as well.
Because we got to get off that. Because you my homeboy.
I know I don't. We can still be homeboys,
Yeah.
but and there's two things. You my boy.
Right.
If you tell me, man, hey, professor, I'm running for a position. Cool. But guess what? If I see that you veering off, you also, hey man, you need to. There's something ain't quite right with what you're doing right now. Now you may argue with me and say whatever. That don't mean we can't go in that corner and discuss some. Hey, bro, I'm taking care of some other stuff over here, but I definitely got to. I'm not opposed to people's getting a little bit of extra tangibles as long as we get the overall picture taken care of in the first place. But what we don't want to do is make sure, like, where's the little sister that said something about the tangibles? But we don't have tangibles. I don't want tangibles anymore. Where are we going to sit down at our table and eat? Well, but tangible, a crumb's a tangible part of a pie.
Right.
We've been waiting forever. Go back and read and just go look at the interviews of Muhammad Ali, who talked about that. Definitely James Baldwin, who talked, why we still gotta wait. My parents waited, grandparents waited, we still gotta wait. And then we get people that are put in a position because you don't scare certain groups of people. And because you don't scare them, you a good one. And we can vote for you because you hear us and you don't scare us.
I can't disagree with you with it because that's the truth. That's what it really is. It's just being honest. You like we talked before prior, and it's not going on subject about baseball.
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson, the reason they let him come, he was the one that was gonna take what they was dishing.
Right.
That's why you seeing like certain ones, they want to know, are you a revolutionary? They don't want that in corporate America.
We don't want that anywhere. Not in corporate America, not in sports, not in anywhere and any place else. They want you to be a good Negro. Yeah. Excuse me for saying it. They want you to be a good boy.
Right. That's the thing. How you be accepted? Because really, you going to be westernized, regardless of what you say. When you going to find out, going how the Civil War was, but now they want to take out what was really going on during that time.
Right.
Anytime you see a 5-star general who was talking, I get it how they be trying to praise their people. You know what I'm saying? The other path. What was going on? Just because slavery was going on don't mean it was right.
No, it wasn't right, but it was law.
Yeah, and that's to me.
And see, this is what we're not understanding. Right. When we're voting and we're talking about voting, you're talking about having people put in place that's going to dictate a law to you. So then how do you get that law changed? Right? Still to this day, there are signs around the city, in every city, that talk about loitering. Right. Where did that law come from? That law came from back in the 1800s when we can't have a group of black people standing around, they're plotting against us.
Right.
Which brings us to your book eventually.
Right.
Okay. So everything about us scares them. Again, we talked about this last week. What did D.L. Hughley say? The scariest place in the mind of black people is in the minds and imaginations of white folks.
Right. Right. Because you got to think, remember, he stayed, because he got some decent money. He stayed in a good area. Remember the police came and messed with him.
Anyway. So if you black in this country, if you African in this country, at any point in time, they feel they have the power to mess with you because they're afraid of us. And so therefore, if you gain any political power, right? If you can gain any real serious political power, what's going to be a problem? It's a problem because we don't know what you're doing. Hence, COINTELPRO, everything else. All of these other programs that the government's put in place is always about destroying the opportunity for a group of people that we have bought, certified, and belong to us to rise up out of the situations and conditions that we put in front of them. Meanwhile, we're asking y'all to still wait. Yeah. Asking y'all to still wait. Believe in somebody's dream, but we're going to give you a nightmare all of the time.
Yeah, all you got to do is think about it. Just look at the Black Panthers. How could you put a war? The government
It's easy. I own you.
Took a war out on them because what was they doing? That was
Policing the police.
Yeah, what was wrong with that?
Because the police is out of order, and we watching them, with guns. And the issue was we were watching with guns instead of cameras. Now we only watch with video cameras on our phones instead of watching them with guns. Because there are a few people that if we were serious, they wouldn't be dead.
Ain't that sad? And what year we in right now?
We in 2024.
And we still hollering about police brutality.
Police brutality.
And when that to fight for it back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Since the police was formed on the plantations back in the
oh my God.
Back in the 1700s. That's how they started. Yeah. There's a patrol force. Go get your history.
Yeah. Slave patrol.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah, slave
patrol. Yeah, that's it. So therefore, it turned into a police force after we were so-called freed.
Yeah. See, you got to change the mind state on what's really going on. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we have to be informed.
Yes.
We're not informed.
Right.
We're not informed.
Right. Right.
We were informed on all levels of things, whether you talked about this, we talked about this. Yeah. You got groups of people and say, okay, these are issues. How do we solve them? But we don't need no help.
Yeah.
If we come to you for help, we come to you to say, look, this is the situation that we have. We need these types of monies in order to resolve these situations, but don't dictate to us how to use them.
Right. Because it should not be, listen, everybody got something.
Everybody.
Yeah, down there, Rashad Dumas, you ain't lying. We are in 2024, and what is the cry? Jobs and justice.
Right.
And fair housing.
Right.
Fair housing.
But see, here's the thing. Even with fair housing, right? There are plenty of people here. What did we used to do back in the day when we built the house? What did we used to do? Hey, we're gonna cook, we're gonna get 15, 20 people, and y'all everybody bring a hammer, we got nails, we'll buy the wood, we'll build the house ourselves, we put it up ourselves.
Right.
Jobs and justice is because number one, what are we teaching ourselves and our young people about what I get it.
Yeah.
Create a job. If not, get an education and leave the country.
Yeah. But see, we don't know
we're afraid.
Yep.
We're afraid.
Right.
Right. You got people all the time. I'm going to Africa. I'm going to go over there and get a job. Go get a job. I remember, and I'll never forget it. There was over at one of the schools that I was doing some work at. I was subbing or whatever. And one of the secretaries said that her son wasn't going to be home for Christmas because he was in Tanzania.
Right.
Putting up solar panels in a village.
Right.
And she was sad that he wasn't going to be home. But he's all the way in another part of the world.
Right.
Where we can go do the same thing because we have the technology. We have the know-how, but we're too afraid to do anything other than what the stuff that we think we're supposed to do.
No, I agree with you with that because I agree with that. I feel like we need to get back to our history. Like, don't get me wrong. I do respect what they're doing over there, but we got to build what we got here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to build because to me, they got it over there.
Yeah.
We ain't as a people because really, how can we go back over there with the mind state that we in?
No,
they look at us crazy.
Yeah, because we're going over there as Americans.
Right.
And that's the issue.
Right.
They think that we're Americans because we haven't proved ourselves otherwise. But one of my teachers, his name is Dr. Theophil Obenga.
Right.
He said, you all are the strongest group of people in the world, and we're waiting for you to come home. And we're too afraid because we're comfortable here. But you can't be, if we're comfortable, then we shouldn't be screaming about jobs and justice.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be screaming. Listen, went to Senegal years ago, 8.5 million people, 8 deaths per year based upon a daughter or a son disrespecting a mother or father.
No, I get it.
Some people might get locked up in jail for stealing. They ain't getting locked up in jail for killing. Women that stuff that goes on that happens over here with women and stuff that people no. That's not happening.
Yeah, if you go really, that's why I think a lot of people don't go back and look at what them Arab countries were saying when you saw Saddam Hussein talking when he said why they didn't want America here. Go back and pull it up when they break it down to you in English what he was saying. You're not finna come over here turn our women into whores.
That's it.
See, a lot of people
That's
don't get that with how they look at American society compared to theirs that they've been having going on for thousands of years. Now, only thing I what I'll be looking at with some of these countries, and it's just my humble opinion, like how with all the technology, like you say, that's going on, how we still got people living in like it's back.
Some people choose that.
Yeah,
There's some
right.
people that choose it.
Yeah.
But here, the reason why is because you got to create a group of haves and have-nots.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we look at organizations that have money that they're sitting on, right? I'm going to do a fictional organization, right? People put into it, they pay dues, they get ready to travel somewhere, right? So how come part of the dues shouldn't be used to offset cost of the travel?
You would think it would.
So you got 200 members, 300 members in this club, right? And you sitting on $750,000, $250,000, $300,000.
Right.
We paying dues, but I have to pay full price to go somewhere, and you sitting on my money. So
it's the hustle.
So then all of these things are hustling people that are not willing to stand up and just willing to be okay with biting our tongue and not saying that these are problems. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So we sit here, Black Lives Matter, but who we talking to? Right. You want Black Lives to Matter, talk to black people. Stop begging somebody else to not to do what they're trained to do to you. Right. Right. But go talk to, hey man, do better. Hey, I need y'all to get it together. Right. Talked to a little boy yesterday. He told me, I asked him, what you doing in school? What grade you in? Oh, I'm in the third. You get in trouble? Yeah, I get in trouble a little bit. Stop getting in trouble. Right. Then when I talked to his dad said the same thing. Oh, I'm going to send your, then he called me uncle. I'm going to send your uncle over to see you in school. And if he catch you messing up, then he can get you right there. Now, what did the kid do after that? He straightened right up. Right. So now he got his dad, and now he got another man that don't know whenever he gonna pop up. Right. It's the fear that right there. You're right. Right fear, there. Like, so now he don't know when either his daddy gonna pop up or I'm gonna pop up. Right. So what does that do? That right there makes him become in alignment a little bit more because now he's got a little bit. I gotta watch it. I can't play around. Right. I can't do these things that I normally do to get in trouble because I'm gonna read it in a second. I can't do these things to get in trouble. So now, if we keep the pressure on him and a few other young kids, those are people that are off the books that they can't get. Right. But if we did that all the way across the board, then if you want to talk about Black Lives Matter, talk to black people. Hey man, change how you do what you do. Some of y'all not. I'm not talking to you. That's okay. Right. Because you're not worth, if you're not willing to change, you're not worth me wasting my time and energy on. But those of you that do, we got something for you on the other side of that. Scholarships, this, that, the other, whatever. Because it ain't like you ain't got the money. Mm-hmm. I agree. Teach to take the money and simply because the billionaire is going to require something from you. So you can't just take the money and say thank you, because then now you got this other propaganda machine that this billionaire has that's going to say you stole from me or you this, or he's going to paint the picture. So you don't take the money. What you do is you form your own group with the money that you have, and then you don't have to worry about the billionaire. but you're accountable to the people that you say. It's like if you, okay, I'm running for whatever Senate seat,
Gotcha.
no problem. Okay, Mr. Mickey Joyner's running for the Senate seat, not a problem. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put, hey man, we got 100 black men or 100 black men and women, and we got 200, 300 people. We're gonna put this pool of money together.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you how this is gonna go down.
Right.
What we're gonna lay out an agenda that you're gonna follow for us. And if you don't follow it, we're coming to knock on you.
But see, that's called accountability.
That's called accountability.
And that's what we're not having.
We're not doing that. Yeah. We're not being accountable to anybody or anything.
Oh, because all you gotta do is look at city council.
Yeah.
Look at the school
I'm not
board.
going down and look at that.
No, I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying.
But just look at you know how many parents should be showing up to the school
every day,
board?
All the time.
You know
and I see that even where I work at.
It breaks my heart. Even when I was down there at the Mott School Board, more people should have been there at the Mott School Board. But when you see what's going on,
right,
it's to me.
But they count on that. That's counted on. That's counted on. It's counted on that people don't show up. Yeah. It's counted on that people are not informed.
Yes.
It's counted on that people are ignorant.
Yeah.
Right. So when we go and do this vote thing, I'm gonna say it again: $80 million in 24 hours.
Don't make no sense.
That people put money behind, and then she may be a legitimate candidate. Maybe. I don't know. But 80 million, those were all emotional responses to the position that she took when Biden said, I'm not running, she gonna run.
Right.
80 million in 24 hours.
Yeah.
But yet we can't get a call to action on nothing. So, right, every day I say the same thing. When we hear, send money this way so this can be free. Yeah. Well, how much have you collected? Not a dime.
Nah, we ain't going to get it like that. Now, the folks do help. I'm not going to lie.
No, well, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know, if we had that type of support, do you know how, if the HBCU had that type of support,
right,
would it be going on?
Right. But what do we do? Because we listen to the propaganda, back to that again, and all of this other stuff. Going to the churches during political, this is September, October, for all of October, every time you turn around, somebody that's running for office in November is going to be in church. And the church is going to support them, all because of what they get in return.
And guess how? The pastor, the only one going to get something out of that.
Yeah.
The congressman and the pastor, guess what his flock going to get?
Zero.
Whatever which way it is going.
But they're going to tell them, if you got a problem, pray.
Yeah,
you ain't praying hard enough.
Pray on it.
Pray on it. Meanwhile, I'm praying on you.
Right. Like gas going up to $4.
Right.
Listen, we went to the grocery store. What was it? The other day. Man, 6 items, $100.
Yeah.
6 items.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, 6 items was $100. Blew my mind. I'm sitting up here. I'm like, okay, I get it. Cost of living, inflation is high. Cost of living is going up, but the minimum wage ain't going up.
I don't care nothing about that. You have to have a working poor that commits crime in order for me to be able to, you know. And you're not talking about equity. Yeah. We're talking about a socialist state.
Yeah, that's just like where they put the thing for the houses, what minimum you was going to go by. Flint, you went by the township.
Yeah.
How you gonna go by Genesee County one? How many people up here make $100,000 in Flint? So how you gonna use that for the medium house income?
Right, because it's easier to look that way.
Right, it's like the people, but to me, it's like the residents, and there's no shade. It's just being honest. You get what you ask for.
But if you keep a group of people ignorant,
yeah.
Right. If you keep a group of people blind, what they call it, what the old folks say, blind, crippling, crazy.
Yep.
If you keep them blind, crippling, crazy, and ignorant, you can do what you want to.
So can.
And as soon as the people awaken, then you have a problem. Now you have to be accountable.
Yeah.
But if you keep the people blind, crippling, crazy, and ignorant, and you just blindly follow whoever this is we're gonna follow.
And it's a true statement right here.
Let me see what they say. What they say.
So speaking of city council meeting, when white folks get outraged, they pack the room at the meetings. It's standing room
Absolutely, absolutely. But once again, if you have a group of people that are okay, so if you look and say that the city council meetings are out of order, who want to go down? If they take more than an hour, what's the point of me going down there? It, so what you do is you keep people out of there, and then you can't. From what I could see, the last time I was there, Mr.
rough.
Cleves was there, and it
Right.
was we in and out an hour.
Right.
And so he would say what he needed to say, but it was about keeping things in order.
Order, right.
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 You know, it's about keeping things in order.
Right.
But it wasn't about, you know, we're going to have this argument, we're going to have this argument, we're going to have this person arguing with these other people. How hard is it to say we get $10 and there's 10 people in the room that represents the council?
Right.
One person may require $1.25, one person may only need 50 cents. Cut them their 50 cents because this is what they need for their group. Yeah. Because they got a smaller number of population, right. They don't need to have a whole dollar.
But when you have dysfunction in the household, and what I mean,
yeah, absolutely,
the city of Flint, when you have dysfunction, and I'm gonna just be honest, when you got the two camps, and you got dysfunction, you got when one camp was in, they did what they did, maybe they did some good. You got a new camp in, and you know it's called retribution, right? So they might have felt some type of way, and that's why you seeing Flint going the way it is, where things should be getting did. Too much money that came through here, but then you got to look at when you see the other layers. Like I refer back to the George Sheraton book, "We the Poison." You can get somebody to come in when they tell you the governor at that time, you know, even with the current one, like say they was Flint fatigue. How can some even come utter out your mouth? We Flint fatigue when the water not fixed, people are dying.
But because it's a group of people I don't care about. And it's a group of people that's unaware and it doesn't matter. It's a group of people that's ignorant and they don't matter. Because you haven't made yourself to be knowledgeable enough to say, hey, look, time up. This has happened. These things have happened. All of this stuff's going on. We'll just come sue you. No problem. Because you can sue the governor, the former governor that was here. Take his ass
no, you know who tried to do
take
it?
him to court.
You know who tried to do it? Eric May. They wanted to subpoena him. Snyder.
Yeah.
Guess what? He didn't get no support from
the council and nobody else, and the people,
or the mayor.
Yeah.
At that time, it just happened to be. I mean, some people, you know what I'm saying? They hate when I say it. There's no shade. It's just being honest, and I think that's what the problem is here. Is that when you speak truth and you tell, even if you have to tell on one of the chosen ones, you get in trouble.
Yeah, well, but you know what? That means they weren't chosen, because if you're chosen, then you do the right things all the time.
You know, the reason I said the chosen ones is because the ones that they got put out there and they liked them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't, and that goes from either camp. Everybody got some flaws. I'm not saying, I know I done did some things, but I know I done did more good than bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I try to work being good every day.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I try to work every day. But I understand hard decisions on things need to be done. Like when I hear, and it baffled me when the governor, because it should have been more outrage when she went on the Breakfast Club, said the Flint water was fixed. Reason she can get away with that because what do we got here? A mayor, state rep saying the water is good. You only got a handful of council people, and they're not the majority of the voting bloc to say the water is bad. So how can you really get help when they can shut it down, suppress about the water in Flint is fixed?
But then, okay, so now on the other side of that is this. How do you prove that it's not? So you get an independent science company, prove that the water still has an issue, that it's not drinkable, it's whatever, and then say, okay, now we're going to take you to court. We're going to subpoena you. We're going to subpoena you to court.
I never seen whoever is running that point on how to do this haven't went that way about it yet. I'm never
because it's about dollars. It ain't got nothing to here. I'm gonna pay you to shut up.
Yeah, because it seems like this how easy you just came, man. When we be on the bump in the morning, people be saying like, "Why y'all ain't win the suit?" Then you come find out, okay, one person. I got stuff sent to me through an email telling people. I say it again. The acronym is FIRE, and plus the ACLU, where you can sue if you've been throughout the Flint City Council, because I've been throughout myself. And it got president. What happened in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, where they threw residents out. And they got paid $17,900, $910. And that city had to pay their lawyer fees for what they got through.
So what did they do? They chose as a group of white people in Grosse Pointe that you threw us out, we're gonna sue you.
Was it Grosse Pointe? I want to say I might be off on Grosse Pointe. So
okay.
I think it was black people that sued.
Okay.
But they did it anyway down there. But how in the hell? And you got president. This happened in 23. Them people just got paid this year in 24. How did nobody else know about this in Flint? Only one. Why was it only one? Why wasn't it other people who should have knew to go get lawyers to go take this battle up?
Well, because even when you had Ben Crump as come up here and saying we suing for this, where's the? Because I'm not saying he's an ambulance chaser.
I think he is allegedly, in my humble opinion.
Because every time you see something that turn around, then he's there. So, it was East Point.
East Point. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, but still, they went and sued, right?
Right.
They took him to court because you threw me in. So,
thanks, T.
Yeah, so that's a tool.
But how do people to me? It'll make you think people are being paid to mislead. To me, it's like here.
Okay.
It's like the people residents is like a dog chasing his tail.
Yeah. So once again, if you have an uninformed public,
right.
If you have an ignorant public,
right,
meaning they don't know,
right,
then what do? So if my council person, which let's say me,
right.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm planning on you either come talk to me so I can see what you're doing. And since I haven't seen you in this area at all, period, then I don't see that you're effective. And Flint is not unique. Flint is like that all over the place. You just had mayors that were more progressive. Unfortunately, the last progressive mayor that we had was McCree years ago, in 67, who helped with the housing crisis and whatnot. So if you don't have certain, and I mentioned this before, you don't have certain things that black people can live now without what happens with Floyd McCree back in 67, 68. But the housing, right. Because we could only live in certain places. So Flint in its uniqueness is because historically you had to sit down strike in 37, which later on General Motors, Chevy, and all of them later on make this residents pay for by leaving. And you have in 67, 68, where there was a housing situation and Flint broke that color line as well. So that is what makes it unique. Now, we just have leadership has been horrible. All of them. Yeah. Because they are at the whims of people who put money in their pockets instead of being at the whim of the people. Right. But if people were aware and not ignorant and lazy, which they count on, listen, I know most of them people. Right. We friends. I see, hey, big bro, how you doing? You good? How's the family? That's cool. But your politics and I don't know. Right. Ain't giving me the vote for you. Right. At one time, I promised, I swear to God, I flipped a coin. And they were looking at me like, what you flipping a coin for? I said, it's a coin toss between who to choose.
And that's the truth, because it's like you say, who giving you your money is where they going to go follow.
That's it.
And that's really, but it's politics.
It's the political action committees are the one that runs the country because we won't form lobbying groups in order to say, you know what? Right. Because I was talking to this brother earlier. You got 10 people, right? That give $100. We blow $100 on a bunch of bull.
So do.
That's $1,000.
Yeah.
We're gonna put it in Representative Jordan's hands.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you how we want. These are things we want. We want our street light fixed. We want this such and such done. Or because as soon as you touch the envelope, you've taken the money, whether you open it or not. And we got evidence of it.
Right.
We took videotape and audio tape, and it says this. So therefore, if you don't do what we need you to do, let's go see you in court.
Yeah.
That envelope could still be sitting on the desk closed, but it's on your desk.
Right.
So you took it. Now, we don't need to play hardball. Just come and make sure we get the streetlights fixed.
Right.
That fire hydrant has been off for years. Just make sure it happens.
Right.
And what should you do? Man, you know what? I got y'all. It'll be done within the next 2 weeks. Oh, if the house burned down? Hey, my man. See, that fire hydrant that we needed.
Right.
You should have fixed that. We asked you to fix it. So now, we want something bigger from you now. That's what lobby groups do.
Right.
It's not hard.
And that's why I say we don't know. Blacks, I ain't saying all, but a lot of us, we need to go back. And I'm really talking about in Flint if we really knew politics.
Right.
And I understand what everybody's saying when you say you're in the infant stage.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them don't know how to go negotiate. You go negotiate for your residents.
And the thing is okay, how many people have talked to the residents and said, what do you need? What do you need? That's what your town hall meetings are for. What do you all need from me? We're gonna make a list. Then we're gonna narrow the list down. And then what's the top 10 things that we need? I want y'all to think before you open your mouth. Take 15, 20. We ain't gonna be here but half an hour, 45 minutes, because I ain't got all day sitting there waiting for you all.
Right.
Come up. Y'all get in y'all groups. We're gonna come up. Y'all come up with now. If all the residents ain't there, it's gonna be on us and informing them that these top 10 things are gonna get done in our what's name, and I'm gonna get them done from this time to this time. And you can call me on it if I don't.
Yeah.
But that's accountability.
Right. And that's why I kept saying, like, all these different, I do feel like they need to go back to these block club presidents.
Yeah.
I do feel like now they need a community director. And don't get me wrong, somebody that reports to the council person. You really need a staff. Somebody that, because the councilman, you already remember, you doing you doing $1 million worth of business.
Right.
That's what people got to understand first. These are $1 million worth of business that they doing. You dealing with a $50-60 million budget. I don't know how big Flint budget. I'm just saying, just going off the top of the head. You're doing millions of dollars.
Right.
I need him to be focusing on that. I understand the cry of the community, but he needs somebody under him, a team, maybe 5 or 6 people. Have one of these community centers opened up. Have an office. Make sure that the councilman got it in his ward. Open them up, and you can do more. That's what community centers are for the people who can't come back and report.
Right. So So like when you have Brennan over here where we are, and you have Hasselbring over here that we know, and there's a few other ones that I know. But what are they there for? They're there to service the seniors, but they're not there for community centers anymore.
But that's why they need to be back open to it.
But see, but that's what I'm saying is you're not making them open you're opening them up to a certain group of people,
right? But
you're not opening them up to everybody, because you only want a certain group of people that you feel are necessary, that you want to have something for them to do.
Right.
So then every day you ain't got to, and I'm not knocking seniors. They should have something to do.
Yes, sir. Yes,
absolutely. Sir. But then y'all be the ones that put them to work.
Yeah.
Put them to work.
Yeah, you need some help, because people can come in and start bringing in complaints.
And here's my opinion. Here's my complaint. And I need y'all to take it to number 1, number 2, number 9. Yes.
We got to get to our council person.
Yeah. So we just come up with a strategy, right?
Right.
There's your strategy right there.
It should be. I think whoever won that first ward and that third ward, I will be getting that whoever controlling that shit. Like right now, we know House of Brink is the talk. We'll be on it tomorrow.
Right.
House of Brink is the talk. since we know it's in the first ward,
Right.
I feel like it need to expand their boundaries now, not just for the elders. Keep that going. That's a great thing
because
they
you need
doing.
to have them, but put the elders to work in order
Right.
for them to be. Hey, listen. You know, talk to all of these people.
Yeah.
These people that come in,
Right.
and these are our top 10 concerns.
Right.
We need you to get on this now.
Right.
So the elections coming in November.
Right.
You need to make sure that by January, February, this list is a zero. Right. We know you may not be able to do much in the wintertime, depending on what it is.
Right.
But
yeah, no, that's how it should be.
By a certain period of time, we need to see you moving on some of this.
Hasselbrink supposed to be, because how they playing higher ball now. This how you make your councilmen play fair too,
right?
Because you get the people say it won't be just it'll be a checks and balance.
And that's really all it is.
You playing games, okay? We got you in. We finna get you right out.
And you have a certain period of time for us to see you move. You got 30 days to move.
Yeah.
You got 30 days to move on. After 31, you out of here.
Yeah. I wouldn't care if it's a revolving door. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't care if it's a revolving door.
Because if it's a revolving door, people gonna know that you're gonna be held accountable.
Thanks.
I can't go in here and be on no mess. I don't care what the council say. I don't care what I'm arguing with these other people about. And none of those other people are arguing anyway. Because what happens is the council will fall in line. The mayor has to fall in line. Because every time you turn around, you in court. Oh, God. I know Elliott on a first name basis. I'm sick of seeing you. Why are you down here again? Same old reason why. We got this person not doing their job. So they need to be held accountable. It's about accountability. When are you going to do this so I don't have to see this man no more? How hard? It ain't that very difficult. They want to sue you for everything else.
Right. But that's how you supposed to be until you start holding your council people, elected council people, accountable.
Yep.
And you're going to get what you getting is what you're going to see right now. Water not fixed. Yep. All these complaints going on. And like how they got this thing with 9 houses out of 9 wards going to be fixed up. That's 72 houses going to be fixed up. How that lottery game finna play.
Right. And what is that going to mean for anybody else? Or are you going to give me a break or a donation in the city so that if there's anything I need to want to get fixed on my house, I can do that too?
9 houses in each ward. And now how many, let's just say, I'm not saying this just a personal opinion, this is what I'm saying allegedly. Let's say that the council people want to say, I'm going to get my house fixed. Now you got 8 houses. What if they say they want to get their friends want to get their house fixed?
So then what we're doing then in this lottery, they get to pick the numbers out of the lottery.
See the game?
Yeah. So if that's the case, then you, once again, okay, so you made a decision that you didn't take care of Mrs. Gray over here, who's 80-something years old, and she needs help with her house. So guess what? How much did you spend? So we're going to sue you for that. We're going to triple the amount we suing you for.
Right. But that's it. For them to even come with some stuff like that is crazy. 72 houses. That's what y'all coming up with. That's to try to pacify certain individual. And yeah, you're right. That to me, that was a PR stunt. Then you see the mayor.
But that ain't even enough. I'm gonna say it again. If you have Miss Gray, who's been living as a widow for who knows how long, and her house needs some help, and you're not making sure that her house is straight, that should be number 1 on the list. Because Miss Gray got friends and owe money.
Now you see how
I'm seeing you beginning to you teaching me. I get it.
But these are people that we got that's doing this. You see how people get left behind.
Yeah. So then why are they in office? Because I ain't been in nobody's church where they told me, this is our candidate and we gonna vote for them. I'm not, Because I'm gonna ask you questions. Like when we had our community meeting, I know, we gotta go. When we had our community meeting, I wanted to ask questions. Well, you need to sit down. This is not for that. Well, then why are you bringing me up? Why are you asking us to come here for?
Facts.
I don't want to hear them talk about what their agenda is.
No.
I could care less.
Right.
I want to ask them questions based upon what they're telling me.
Right.
And you're not going to let that happen because then I'm not coming to another one of your forums. Which that's okay. But guess what I won't do? I'm going to vote for that person.
Right. Right.
I won't vote for that
Right.
person.
And that's what I seen. I seen something like that happen over at it was the 7th Ward. I went over there, and don't get me wrong, Dylan Luna was a moderator.
Yeah. I was there over at
Okay.
Scott School.
Yes, sir.
And he wanted to, and that was the one that walked. That was me that walked out.
Wow.
That was me that walked out because I'm like, you're
I
not
was
gonna sit around
recording.
there and tell me that we
Yep.
got to be quiet and
Facts.
sit there
Yep.
and not listen to this person. They telling us what they want to do, and
Right.
we don't need no introduction. They just hand out paperwork.
Right. I was
So you was sitting in the back. So I was the one that walked out.
I remember that. Okay.
I was the one that walked out.
Yeah, yep. Man,
And then y'all heard me. They were like, can you please be quiet? No, I'm not being quiet.
Yep, I remember
This is a public forum.
Right.
So I'm going to speak.
Right. And I thought that was so disrespectful how they played it. Then they want to get up here, you get mad, but it's like, I remember Evergreen, I can't, and they some beautiful people, but they threw it. I got on them
Evergreen, that was a States that put that on.
State, yeah, and I remember I got on them about it, like, no, y'all gotta understand. They remember they want people to say nothing.
Yeah,
because
that was me that was sitting there running my mouth about we should be able to ask them questions.
Right.
And so when they didn't want that, I walked out.
Right.
Because you're out of order to hold a public forum to meet people. I don't need to meet you.
Right.
I don't care. I want to know what your policy is and how we're going to hold you accountable for what you say you're going to do if we elect you.
Right. And that's why I get so frustrated where they be like, oh, you want to? No, I don't want to go to none that the people can't ask them. If you already know what, you can't ask the tough questions. I'm not going to no more things like that.
Yeah.
Count me out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Because then you want this to be we don't have to hold them accountable because it's okay that we just come in and do what we want to do and you just suffer from whatever it is that we want to do to you.
Yeah, just count me out if you ain't gonna ask no real questions. Don't get me wrong. I watched the debate. I believe Kamala won, the one with her and Trump. But the thing is, where was the real getting down?
They ain't gonna ask no questions.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not gonna do that. You haven't had those types of debates in 40 years.
That's what I know.
You haven't had those types. It's all about they talk about who's the most popular,
right?
And that's it. Right. You're not talking about how the electoral college works, because none of that. At the end of the day, none of it matters.
Right.
None of it matters.
Because even trying to say and they got to stop Trump is racist. Listen, half of America is.
3/4 of America. You got 250 million white people. If we go by the population, right?
Why? So why y'all just acting like it?
This ain't brand new. This has been there. And this is part of the fabric of the country.
Like apple pie.
Right.
Like apple pie. And they killed me with that. But see, it's saying like we get stuck on the Project 2025, but what about every 25 years?
Somebody gotta give us vote for us to have a right to vote.
Just go by your age. How many times has it been on the ballot for you to be able to stay voting?
3, 2. I'm 61.
Right.
So it's at least twice.
In 2 years, I'll be 50.
Right.
So that means I'm been 50 and it still ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
you're still tenuous that you can vote because people got to make a decision on it.
This is what is really, hey Terry, this is really what's crazy. But it's like, I do really truly believe we got to get more educated.
We have to be educated about everything that we and how politics, to the degree that it will work for us. Right. We do. How will it work for us? How can we make it work for us? Right. Really, that starts with local stuff that's saying, hey, Mr. Jordan, we like you. We're going to have you run for at least this particular ward, but we're going to hold you accountable for the things that happen here. No. And guess what? Right. And if you do those things, you're going to win.
Right. Why do you think Mays was able to stay? Only thing got him out of his seat was death.
Well, that, and then because that was my guy, and his thing was he was to them he was too radical.
Yeah,
there was some stuff that he probably shouldn't have said out of passion.
Right,
but there's a difference between saying things angrily and passionate.
Right. Yeah, I'm saying to hurt your
most
feelings.
people is always, well, you're always angry. You always. Should I not be angry when I have to fear for my children's and my children's future? Should I not be angry about that?
They just forget. I can't think of the black author from back in the day. What he say to be in America is like James Baldwin.
James Baldwin.
I
and go get his books too, people.
Right,
go tell
Baldwin.
It on the mountain. Go get that book.
When he's saying, telling you like, and we don't look at it. If you go back, look at Sammy Davis Jr. Go look at, because he's still living. Desmond, who played Demond on Sanford and Son.
Right.
Said they kept their 38s on them because they performed in front of a live crowd.
Right. Right.
You know what color that crowd was?
Yeah, of course.
He said they didn't know if they was gonna come. He said, I had mine and red had his.
Yep.
Sammy Davis Jr. Go look at his when he said he had his gun, because when he was performing, didn't know. But if you did, I was gonna kill you dead. If you did, y'all might have got me, but I was taking a few of y'all with me. And I'm just saying, people don't understand. Like,
we're still waiting, and that's the sad part. We want to be inclusive, but inclusive in our inclusion, it's cost us damn near everything.
Everything.
It's cost us everything. When we had our own schools, when our students were performing at the highest level from anywhere, because they saw anybody from the bottom to the top that looked like them, and it was demanded they be excellence. No excuse.
Right.
No excuse.
And that's where and that's where.
But we choose to be behind enemy lines, bro. We're choosing that because we're choosing to be part and inclusive of something that they don't want us to be included.
Right.
Because y'all still dreaming. Yeah. You better wake up.
The Bible, what it's in the Bible, come out of her, my chip, and partake not of in her sins. Meaning just come out the ways that you're seeing that's going on. But a lot of people that I'm not saying it verbatim, but you got to come out there thinking, even when they say our kids got to be re-educated.
Yeah. Educate. Listen, bro, I'm telling y'all as a teacher, the things that we're required to teach them, there's not what should be taking place when you get home.
Right. I agree.
If I have a limited amount of time about what I can teach, right. I'm required to teach these things. Right. That don't mean I don't slide in other stuff, because I'm always going to do that. And I'm going to make that forefront. Right. But if I got 25, 22, 23 kids, the other 20, when they go home to these 22 households, y'all should be making sure that they learn who they are. If that means you need me to send a book list, I'll send a book list. But you read it and read it with your children. Because we put a book list up here for y'all already.
No doubt. As it should be. But these are things that it should be getting out, because you do need the re-education, because you got to think a lot of the stuff that's going on. I was in the school system. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing going on, man, is not the school system.
No, it's not. School. It is not. It is the fact that as people that we want to make sure that sometimes that because I didn't have this, I want my kid. But your kid can't read. Right. Your kid can't write. Your kid can't spell. Your kid can't do math. So how are you making that make sense to anybody when right. when your child don't even work for it? If from 7:30 to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, that's their job. So right. why are you paying them for not doing their job?
Right.
No, you would get fired. I'd get fired if we went to work and didn't do our job.
Facts. Right.
So then therefore we supposed to be okay with our children. And then as parents, you still not doing your job when you get home? That's your job. That's your job when your child gets home, to make sure that your schoolwork is tight. But then on the other side of that, these are things I'm going to teach you as well. If I didn't know them, then you're going to learn them, whether it be about money,
right?
Whether it be about politics,
right?
Whether it be about where you come from.
Right.
As a matter of fact, teach them all. Put it in rotation.
Business is warfare.
All day long.
And people don't understand that business is warfare.
All day long.
How you not going to know how to go do business? We play Monopoly to show you. You play life. Monopoly really show you how to make bank.
Really show you. Monopoly is the game. Since y'all want to play games, Monopoly is the game to have to play with your family to learn business. That's all it was for.
Yep.
Who gonna take the big bank?
Right.
Play Monopoly.
Show you how you can come from the bottom. You can get everything, and show you how you can break the people when it comes. Because all you do is land on the on card
and then you
have
lose
to pay
everything.
taxes.
And you have to lose everything.
Then you got to come.
And you got to start
And
all
I
over
might
again.
be waiting there buying all your stuff up.
All your stuff. And that's business.
Yeah,
That's the reason it's called Monopoly.
Yeah.
It wasn't just no board game.
Right.
This is business.
But people don't understand.
No.
No, they
And I ain't talking about playing it on your phone, because you ain't playing with other people on the board.
Right.
Sit down, get a board game, get with your family. You know, limit your drinks so it don't get crazy.
Right, yeah,
because it will.
Right.
But play Monopoly.
See what it is. Yeah. But see, that's what I think. A lot of that we need to get back to more. We got caught up.
See, we lost our tradition.
Right. We got caught up in sports and entertainment.
Yeah, but what did Malcolm say? Yeah. Every time you turn around, they stick a mic in front of an athlete or a comedian. Singer. Not that the fact that they may not have something to say, but they're not the ones really studying what's going on in the world. Right. They have opinions. Right? Dave Chappelle, wonderful opinions. Right. Wonderful. Not a problem. He studied because his mother forced him to. Right. But he ain't studied like other people I know that study this stuff for real. Right. He has views that he gets on the stage and to say stuff. Yeah. I'm not knocking it. I think it's absolutely great. Right. Cat Williams. You know, a few other ones that say stuff because they've lived in this situation. Right. And I'm not saying that they're not ones that you can not, okay, dang, I heard that. It's like even back in the day when I listened to rap music, the music I listened to was Public Enemy, KRS-One, X-Clan, a few of them like that. Yeah. They mention names. Let me go research this. Facts. Let me go here. Oh, man, I ain't never heard of that person. Let me go check this person out. Yeah. Oh, okay, and then open up stuff to other stuff. That's cool. But I'm not taking a word for it. Right, you got to go do it for yourself. I got to go do it for myself. I want to know. Source yourself. Right. Even when I was studying certain books, right, it says some things about ancient Egypt, and okay, well, if you mention it that much, what is going on with ancient Egypt that was that great for you to mention it that many times? Right. And let me go stay. Oh, I see what was going on with ancient Egypt at that time. Right. Oh, and then in ancient Egypt, they talk about the Well, what the heck? So now you just open up a whole flower for the world for me to be able to study this other stuff. And then, well, how do you remember that? Because guess what I do is I cross-reference that with some other stuff. And then I run into these books and run into these authors at right time, right place, and everything else. And that's how you study. And that's how you give it to yourself and your children. That's it. We playing games with our future. We were playing Russian roulette with every barrel loaded. Facts, we showed it. Without a conscience, that's what's crazy. Yeah, we just flipping it. It don't matter which one it go to. We just pull a trigger. Yeah, without a conscience, it's crazy. I agree with you with that. It's never going to be solved at school. That school is not the school's job to solve your problem. What the school's job is to give a certain level of rhetoric that you're supposed to be able to follow all the way up, even until college. Unless you go to certain colleges that have a different ideology. But it's your job to get a true education about what's going on in the world. Don't leave it up to school teachers. Because even I'm bound by the curriculum. I slide other stuff in there because they may base whatever I do on whatever the kids learn and how they pass tests. Okay, those are standardized tests that have absolutely nothing to do with nothing, really. But state school districts will use them for some other reason. Right. Now, at the end of the day, when your students graduate, when our young people graduate from college, can they do real research? Can they write real papers? Can they do math at a certain level? Do they know economics at a certain level? Do they know those things? But then when it comes to other stuff, that's on us to teach. You got a point there. Anything you want to close us out on, good brother? Well, family, we appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us today. We went a little bit over. Please make sure that we appreciate you all staying here with us the whole time. Go check back out a few weeks back when we put up a book list. Make sure you get the book list, fill your library up, study, Make sure that your students study, your children, our children study, and make sure that y'all teaching them, and become knowledgeable about what it is that we're doing in our everyday life, even if that comes from reading the labels on the food that you eat. We appreciate you, bro. Mr. Hutchinson. Yes, sir. You're right.
I sure will get it on to Mark Hutchinson. I didn't put it on him this time, but I'll get the lighting together.
Y'all can't see me, man. You can hear me though. That's all that matters.
For sure. Nah, I got you, but I'm gonna light him up. I'll make sure I put more light on him, because a lot of the times some people be like, "No, it's too light on us," and I didn't want to put heavy too much.
But here's a big thing. Here's a big thing though. Whether it's light or dark, if the light's out, if you hear what I'm talking about, that's all that matters.
Facts.
That's the food that you eat. And we appreciate it, Mr. Hutchinson. Thank you.
And we do appreciate it. Oh. He's talking about the knowledge, not the light bulb. The knowledge that you
trust me, when it's my turn, we turning it way up.
Oh, no.
I know, I got him.
Yeah, I got you, Mr. Hutchinson.
Yeah.
You know what? Stay tuned.
It's coming.
Stay tuned.
It's coming.
Stay tuned.
We appreciate y'all, family. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. We got you.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be all the way bright.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Peace, family.
All right, fam.